The man awakens in a small, dingy room, the air thick with the smell of mold and dampness. The walls, covered in peeling paint, reveal patches of grimy stone beneath. A single flickering light bulb hangs from the ceiling, casting an eerie glow that dances with shadows. He lies on a cold, hard cot with a thin, tattered blanket barely covering him. His clothes are worn and dirty, sticking to his skin with the moisture in the air. As he sits up, the metal springs of the cot creak loudly, echoing in the silence. His head throbs, and he realizes he can't remember anything, who he is, where he is, or how he got here. The room is sparsely furnished, with a rickety wooden table and a single chair in the corner. A small, barred window high on one wall lets in a sliver of pale daylight, but it's not enough to reveal much more of the room's secrets. The floor is damp and cold under his bare feet, and he can hear the distant sound of water dripping somewhere. Feeling disoriented and frightened, he stands up, his legs shaky. He notices a rusty metal door on one side of the room. It looks heavy and foreboding, with no obvious handle or lock from the inside. The sense of isolation and confinement begins to weigh on him as he contemplates his next move in this unsettling and mysterious place. As he walked to the door, he realized he never checked nothing in his pockets or anything, so he started checking himself to make sure he have nothing on him that could identify who he is or where he been or what he is or what he's doing. So he started walking to the door, and he realized the door is open. It's big and black with no handle in the inside, but the door is clearly open for him to walk through. So as he pushed on the heavy door and get into the hallway, he see it looks like a woman at the edge of the hallway. When he see the woman at the edge of the hallway, he was thinking about yelling to see if she's gonna say something, but he said, no, I'm gonna walk up to her and then talk to her and get some information about where this place is and find out if she knows something about him that could really help him to put him on the right track. Dimly lit hallway in an old abandoned building. The walls are cracked and the air is thick with dust and the scent of decay. At the far end, he sees a woman standing still, her back turned to him. Initially, he feels a mixture of curiosity and concern, but as he takes his first step towards her, a wave of fear washes over him, sharp and vicious. His heart begins to pound, each beat echoing loudly in the oppressive silence. His breathing becomes erratic, and a cold sweat forms on his forehead, dripping down the sides of his face. The hallway seems to stretch and warp, making each step feel arduous and disorienting. His body tenses, muscles coiling as if preparing for an imminent attack. The woman's presence, once just a distant figure, now exudes a sinister aura. Shadows cling to her like dark tendrils, and the flickering lights cast eerie, distorted reflections on the walls. His mind is bombarded with an escalating sense of dread, an instinctual warning that something is profoundly wrong. The fear is not just a feeling, it's a predator stalking him, claws unsheathed and fangs bared. Every step closer amplifies the terror. His vision narrows and his ears ring with an almost deafening silence. The hallway feels colder, the air heavy and suffocating. His skin prickles with goosebumps, and his hands shake uncontrollably. The woman's figure becomes clearer but more menacing, her posture rigid and unnatural. The fear morphs into something feral and uncontrollable, a vicious beast that gnaws at his sanity. His instincts scream at him to turn and run, but a macabre fascination compels him forward. The closer he gets, the more the fear becomes a living, breathing entity, wrapping around him like a constricting serpent. His mind races with irrational thoughts, and he feels on the verge of panic. By the time he is mere feet away, the fear is overwhelming, a tidal wave of malevolence that threatens to engulf him entirely. The woman's presence is a dark abyss, an unknowable terror that beckons him with a promise of madness. The hallway, once just a passage, has become a gauntlet of horror, and every fiber of his being quakes with the need to escape its grasp. As he approached, heart racing with trepidation, the figure he had seen, initially cloaked in mystery, seemed poised and dangerous, but as she turned, the tension shattered like glass. Before him stood an adorable little girl, perhaps 6 or 7 years old, with wide, sparkling eyes and a cascade of curly hair that framed her cherubic face. Her cheeks were flushed with the chill of the evening, and she wore a bright yellow raincoat that seemed to glow against the muted backdrop. In her tiny hands she clutched a stuffed bunny, its ears frayed but beloved. The innocence radiating from her was palpable, and the air around them shifted from menacing to enchanting. He felt the weight of his previous thoughts of violence and fear, drop away like a heavy cloak. The girl's sweet smile, full of wonder, melted away the darkness he had conjured. She tilted her head curiously, her eyes sparkling with untainted joy, completely unaware of the turmoil she had just dispelled. In that moment, the world felt lighter, and he realized how the presence of innocence can dissolve the heaviest of intentions, leaving only the purity of childhood in its wake. As he gazed at the little girl, her sweet smile illuminated the dim hallway, yet an unsettling whisper crept into the back of his mind. It was a voice, faint yet insistent, urging him to flee. His heart raced, pounding against his chest like a frantic drum. The warmth of her innocent presence felt surreal, as though it were a mask hiding something deeper, something dangerous lurking just beneath the surface. The hallway, once a mundane passage, now felt suffocating, the walls closing in as shadows danced menacingly. The voice grew louder, a primal instinct urging him to run, to escape the deceptive tranquility. Images flashed through his mind, dark corridors, unseen threats, the instinct to survive igniting a fire in his veins. He could almost feel the chill creeping along his spine, a warning that he was in the presence of something not quite right. Though the little girl stood there, her eyes twinkling with innocence, the juxtaposition of her sweetness against the gnawing dread within him created a dissonance that was impossible to ignore. He felt a surge of adrenaline, a primal urge to turn on his heels and sprint down the hallway, away from the uncanny sweetness that felt like a trap, a facade that could shatter at any moment. In that fleeting moment, he stood at the crossroads of fear and curiosity, caught between the innocence of childhood and the instinct to survive. He knew he had to choose, and the whisper of self-preservation was growing louder, urging him to run far and fast, away from the unsettling allure of the little girl in the yellow coat.
"Mister, are you okay?" She broke the silence with her voice. He looked at her and he said, "Yeah, I'm okay," as he stuttered on his words. She said, "Are you sure?" He go, "Yeah, I'm okay, but I want to know where is this place?" She said, "Oh, this place is a hotel." And he said, "Okay, where? And do you know where I am, or who I am, or anything about me?" She said, "No, but are you okay?" He go, "No, I don't know where or what is going on here." As the nagging feeling at the back of his head is telling him to run away from her, run very far. He looking at her and he's asking himself, why my heart beating? Why is this thing telling me to run? And she looked at him and go, "Mister, I know a safe place you could go." He go, "What? A safe place? But isn't this a safe place?" She said, "No. It's monsters all over this place." And he go, "Monsters? I don't see any." "Hey, mister, do you want to go to the safe place?" And she put her hand on her stomach. And he go, but this place is safe." She said, "No, mister, this place is very dangerous. The safe place I'm talking about will keep you safe forever." You go, "Really? What? Where's it at? Where's the safe place?" She looked at him with a cunning grin and said, "In my stomach." The look of confused on his face is evident. He like, what are you talking about, your stomach? What are you talking about, little girl?"
Her laughter echoing like a soft chime, but the atmosphere was thick with an unsettling tension, and as the fluorescent lights flickered, a dark transformation began. Her delicate features contorted, twisting into a grotesque mask of horror. The man in front of her, initially drawn in by her innocent appearance, felt a chill run down his spine as her eyes ignited with a hellish red glow, burning with a predatory hunger. The bright yellow coat began to fray and darken, morphing into something sinister, as if the shadows themselves were consuming her. With a horrifying crack, her jaw unhinged, revealing an array of jagged fangs glistening with a dark, dripping saliva. The sound echoed like thunder in the narrow hallway, sending a wave of primal fear coursing through the man's veins. He stumbled back, his heart racing as she lunged forward with a speed that defied her small frame. Her limbs twisted and elongated, fingers morphing into wicked claws that seemed ready to shred flesh. The man's breath quickened, his pulse pounding in his ears as he realized the innocent girl he once saw had vanished, replaced by a nightmarish creature. As she growled a low, guttural sound that reverberated off the walls, he could see the madness in her red eyes, a hunger that promised violence. The flickering lights cast eerie shadows, creating a dance of terror around them, highlighting the fear etched on his face. He stumbled backward, desperately searching for an escape, his mind racing with thoughts of survival as the once innocent child became a harbinger of chaos, ready to unleash her monstrous wrath. In that moment, the hallway transformed into a claustrophobic trap, the air thick with dread, as he faced the horrifying reality that innocence can be a mask for something far more sinister.
Hello guys, thank you for listening to the video. We've made it to the end of it. Please drop a like, subscribe, and share if you can. Please comment if you have something to say about the video, and please let me know what you think. Thank you very much.